guys, it's by Japan. This video introduces the Adobe Premiere Pro version of the full-fledged film simulation plugin, Dehancer. First, let me tell you my personal pros and cons. The good thing is that you can create good colors and you can add halation and bloom effect, so you can create images with good atmosphere. On the downside, it was very slow to render, unintuitive to use, and buggy. As of July 2023, if you use Dehancer with Adobe Premiere Pro on an M1 Mac like I do, you may notice the above drawbacks. Dehancer supports various applications and OS, so I think that the processing speed and the degree of problems may change greatly depending on the environment in which you use it. If you are interested in Dehancer, please try using the trial version that matches your usage environment first and check the rendering speed and whether any problems occur. Here are some of the features I particularly like about Dehancer. First of all, the first favorite function is input that optimizes the logs of various cameras. For input, you can select Rec 709, but you can also optimize the log of various cameras. I think it's good to call it a lot as a function. I use a Sony camera, so I applied the settings for Sony. I thought that Dehancer's input had a perceptually more appropriate color than Sony's officially distributed LUT. How do you feel? My second favorite features are halation and bloom. Dehancer's halation seems to reproduce the film halation that occurs when shooting with film. It expresses a blur of orangish light. Bloom reproduces the fluffy image due to the effects of the optical system. I think there are all the lenses and a mist filter that have a similar effect. Bloom's color is natural. Applying both halation and bloom will look like this. The effects of halation and bloom are set to be weak so that they look natural. By adding halation and bloom, I think that the hardness of the image has been removed and it has a good feeling. A third favorite feature is film profile emulation. Dehancer currently has 63 different file profiles. By doing film profile emulation, the colors look good. There are 63 types of film profiles, so I think you can find some that you like. Dehancer has various other adjustment items. To be honest, it's hard to fully understand which items to adjust to get better results. However, as you play around with the settings, you will gradually get better results. Here's a comparison of footage with a bit of Dehancer processing and footage with only Sony LUTs and exposure adjustments. Don't you think Dehancer's video has a much better atmosphere? Dehancer is a full-fledged film simulation tool, but by setting the input source to Rec 709, it can also be used for footage shot with a smartphone or GoPro. Rather, you may be able to enjoy the effect of Dehancer more if you use it for footage taken with a smartphone or a GoPro. This is because footage shot in log leaves a lot of room for grading, while footage shot with smartphone and GoPro doesn't leave much room for grading. Therefore, I think that using Dehancer will make it possible to create an atmospheric image that looks like it was graded from log, even though it was shot with a smartphone or GoPro. Next, I will introduce the problem that occurred in my environment. It may be occurring only in my environment, so please drop the trial version as much as possible and try it in your own environment. However, it seems that LUT output can only be done with the product version, so it cannot be verified with the trial version. Rendering encoding takes a lot of time when using Dehancer. This is not a bug, but it feels like the bug level is taking a long time for me. I compared the encoding time of about 1 minute and 30 seconds of footage used for the video I uploaded to YouTube. Lumetri color with LUT and color adjustment was about 6 minutes. Dehancer was 6.5 times longer, about 40 minutes. I think Dehancer is doing complicated processing, but even so, rendering times a lot of time. The load of drawing on the previous screen is also high. I tried to scrubbing. Using a lower resolution proxy will make the preview more pleasing. However, if you switch the sequence, even with the proxy, the preview display was often extremely sluggish. The next problem is that the LUT cannot be output. Dehancer has a function to output LUT. However, when I try to output the LUT, I get an error and the LUT cannot be output. The last problem is that the Sony FX3's input setting is wrong. Using the FX3 setting in Dehancer's input, for footage shot with the Sony FX3, the bright and saturated color looks a bit odd. The Alpha 7S3 settings will improve, so in the sample video shot with the FX3 and ZV-E1, the input uses the Alpha 7S3 settings. I will introduce the Dehancer settings used in the sample video. Just by shooting with S-3 Cine S-Log3 with a Sony camera and applying Dehancer with the above settings, you can reproduce images similar to the sample video. If you like the color of the sample video, please try to imitate the settings. Finally, I will introduce the iOS version of Dehancer. The iOS version comes with multiple presets by default. However, I think you'll get better result if you don't use the default presets and edit them yourself. The iOS version can do almost everything that the PC version of Dehancer can do, so I think it's a highly functional smartphone app. It may be a good app for those who want to make fine adjustments and bring their photos and videos closer to their ideal image. You can also preview videos. If you have an old iPhone, the preview may be stuttering, so if you are interested about the iOS version, please check the drawing load in advance with the trial version. The adjusted result can be saved in a preset. If you save your favorite settings in a preset, you can load and apply them immediately. It takes an amount of time to export. This is the footage actually exported on the iPhone. I hope you find this video useful. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please thumbs up and please subscribe to my channel. Please also subscribe to my socials.